Hi everyone, welcome to this video which is an introduction to the strategic case study exam. Now we get a lot of students from the exemptions route who are coming directly to the strategic case study, or many students who are taking the case study exam for the first time, or are directly taking the strategic case study exam, or have worked through the bottom pillars of CIMA and reached the strategic case study. In any case, knowing what the exam is the starting point. If you don't know what the exam is, how and what will you even study? So I welcome you to this video. My name is Devansh and I am the lead tutor at Finntutors, and throughout all my videos, my idea is to give you a very simple, easy, candid explanation of every part of your CIMA exams. That's why we are here, and that's why we have also been recognized as CIMA Registered tuition providers, and that's why we get our high pass rates. Let me just say that. So with all of that in mind, let's begin with our introductions. So firstly, we're speaking about the strategic case study exam. Let's have an understanding of what this exam is. This entire video I have broken down into two parts for you. First part is about the exam. Second part is how you can ace the exam, how you can crack the exam, how you can put the exam behind you and never look at it again by a good preparation. So we'll deal with the first part, which is all about the introduction. Now the case study examination tests your knowledge, skills and techniques from three pillars into one simulated scenario based exam. Now what three pillars are they speaking about? The three pillars are your E3, P3 and F3 pillars for this exam. If you don't have knowledge of E3, P3 and F3, how will you apply it to a case study situation and how will you write a good answer? So the case study exam is where you need knowledge from E3, P3 and F3 to eventually do well on the exam. So the first spot and the first thing to remember that for this exam and the base for this exam is E3, P3 and F3. The second thing they tell us is that candidates are given a fictional case study before the examination. So close to 1.5 months before the exam, CIMA releases a fictional case study. And this case study is used over two windows. So May and August is the same case study. The pre-scene is released 1.5 months before the May exam, and the same pre-scene is used for the August exam as well. November and Feb is the same case study, and 1.5 month before the November exam, the case study is released and it remains the same for the February exam as well. So CIMA releases this case study or a fictional company on which your questions are going to be asked in the exam. So they will, for example, create company XYZ. It sells water bottles, for example. They'll tell you what the company's history is, what the company's industry is like, what the company's structure is like. They'll give you a whole financial statements of the company as well. Then it is your job to go through it, understand it and relate it to the three pillars of E3, P3 and F3. So up until now, I learned two things about this exam. The first thing that I learned is I will need knowledge of the three pillars. The second thing I learned is the fictional company that CIMA releases will be very important for me to understand and for me to follow, because we want to have these are the basics of the exam. If you don't have the basics of the exam right, how can we move ahead? So remember, first knowledge, second the fictional company that they release needs to be analyzed. The case study mimics the role in a real work scenario, so they try to make it as real as possible rather than a theory based exam. So you will need your knowledge from the three pillars, apply it to the fictional company that they give you, and then the question that they ask you in the exam is going to be related to your company, which you will again need knowledge from the three pillars to answer. So in short, your preparation has to revolve around revision and has to revolve around understanding the company and has to revolve around actual mock writing practice. All three of which, when you sign up with a registered tuition provider like us with, gets handled. You don't have to worry about anything. So the basics of the exam have been explained over here, and the strategic case study examination simulates the role of a senior finance manager or similar. So they give you the role of a senior finance manager in the fictional company that they release. For example, XYZ. So they'll tell you, you are the senior finance manager in XYZ. And then you have to think in that perspective. You have to use your technical knowledge from E3, P3 and F3. Thinking as a senior finance manager, write your answer. So it's quite a complicated exam, but if you know the steps to be followed, then everything falls into place. It's just like answering a question at work. That's how we, think about it. That's how we simulate it. So learners who complete the strategic case study exam get the prestigious CGMA designation, and your CIMA qualification is complete. So obviously after this you have to get your PER, your personal experience, work experience verified by CIMA, but this is the end of the examinations. So about the case study exam, we learned that the starting point is the 3 pillars of revision. Second point is the pre-scene that they release, and third point is mock writing, because without that, again, can't do well on the exam. Coming to introduction to the exam facts. You learned what this exam is going to be in brief terms. Now let's look at the technicalities of this exam. And throughout all my videos, you'll see I'm very candid, I'm very straightforward, I'm very, student centric. That's what I like to do in all of my lessons. So you will have 3 questions of a total time of 3 hours. 1 hour per question. So what is the exam like? You also may be thinking that as a new student, right? So I want to now give that to you by telling you that it's going to be a 3-question exam. Each question is 1 hour, and after that 1 hour is completed, question number 1 goes away, submitted. You can't look at it, you can't check it, you can't correct it. Then comes question number 2, 1 hour, completed, gone. Then comes question number 3, and that's how you complete your 3-hour exam. You can't go to the third question and then come back to the first question. That cannot happen. In that first 1 hour, 1 question has to be done and submitted. It's gone, it's finished. In the second 1 hour, second question. In the third 1 hour, the third question. It's as simple as that. So you will have 3 questions of a total time of 3 hours. And inside of each question, you can have multiple tasks. So maybe in question number 1, they can tell you, explain the corporate governance situation of our company. Second thing they can ask you is explain how performance appraisal will take place in our company. For example, I'm saying both you have to answer in that 1 hour, because once the clock hits 60 minutes, the question number 1 is submitted. You can't touch it, you can't go back to it. So you will have to have a very clear structure of what you are going to do in 60 minutes, because 60 minutes sounds like a lot of time, but when you are in the exam scenario, it flies by. So you need to know what you have to do when the question pops up on your screen. That happens only because of practice, that happens only because of confidence, and that's why you sign up with registered providers like us. So, introduction to the exam completed. You know that this exam will be 3 questions, 60 minutes each. Coming to some further details now. Now, this is the first screen that you see in your strategic case study exam. This screen just evidences what I have spoken about. This screen says that your first question has 60 minutes of the time, and the subtasks are 2. There are 2 subtasks. And then it also tells you the time that you should spend on each subtask. So it's telling you that, okay, question 1 has 2 tasks. The first task of these 2 tasks, we want you to spend 40% of your time. And the second subtask, we want you to spend 60% of your time. So it showcases the importance as well over here. And this importance, or this percentage, has also been described. When we go, you will also see in the actual question. For example, when question number 1 comes up on your screen, it will tell you that task A 40%, task B 60%. It also tells you on the first screen, and it also tells you in the exam, in the question as well. But this is a very clear instruction that out of these 2 tasks, 40% time should be given on task A, 60% time should be given on task B. That's the basic. As we go deeper, when students study with us, as we go deeper into mock writing, we'll give you ideas and tactics to actually, understand how many marks is each question, how many points you have to write. But the basic over here for us to understand is that 2 tasks, they've given us the time allocation that you should give to each task, which shows the importance of each task. So second question has 3 tasks, 30, 35, 35. Third question is 2 tasks, again 55 and 45. So it can be anything. But you should know that, okay, out of the 60 minutes, I should be spending 40% of the time writing task A, 60% of the time writing task B. So this is an allocation that CIMA has given you from the very beginning. And like I said, once you sign up with us and once we go deeper into mock writing, we will detail and explain to you what and how each mock is to be written, how many points to write, how to further dissect and bifurcate this, what you see on your screen. All of those tips and tricks we'll give you, but the basics is what I'm helping you understand right now. Now to some other technicalities. You may be wondering, what are the tasks that they give us? So I told you that one question can have multiple tasks, and each task has a time allocation given as well. So inside the question, it's not like you have to spend 50% or 40% of your time on task A. No, that's up to you. They're just giving you a guideline that, okay, if you spend this much time on task A, it will be valuable for you to get the marks. So to showcase an example, this is just an example that I've put on your screen to tell you that task A is asking you how would the release of a significant proportion of our back catalog on vinyl affect Trevor's value chain. So the company that was given for this particular attempt was called Trevor. It was a music records company. So they're asking you how will a certain thing affect Trevor's value chain. You're not expected to answer this right now because you're still new to the pattern, to the system, but I'm explaining you the type of questions and the tasks, how they put them up to students. And without your E3, P3, F3 knowledge, without your case study knowledge, how will you write this answer? As simple as that. So this, they've told you that this task is 50% of your time, or you should give it 50% of importance. Same way, task 2, you should give 50% importance. It could be 30, 70, 40, 60, could be anything. But it's a guideline for you to understand that if you give that much time to that task and write for that much time, it will give you good amount of marks. Like I said, as we go deeper into discussions with me, when we go to mock writing and so on, I will tell you how much time, how many marks, what to write, how many points, how many paragraphs. I'm coming to that. We're not at that stage. Right now, we are only understanding what tasks mean, what this percentage means, what the overview of this exam is. So I hope you're clear. The first screen is this. And once you hit the next button and start your exam, a scenario based question will come up which can have multiple tasks, and this is just an example of 2 tasks that they can ask you. I hope you have followed me very carefully. This is very important in terms of understanding the requirement. So up until now, we spoke about the exam, we spoke about parts of the exam, we spoke about some detail of the exam. All of that is done. All of that is focused. All of that is understood. We understand now your role a little bit more in detail. Now, CIMA says that the role of a senior finance manager is one which is at the top of the organization. And a lot of students may have heard about blueprints, ICANN statements, and all of those technical words. I'm going to speak about them, obviously. But let me give you some basic first. CIMA says that the role of a senior finance manager is to look at business strategy, is to look at risk management. Both are part of your E3 syllabus. Risk management part of your P3 syllabus. CIMA says that senior finance manager also has to look at cyber risks, cyber security. P3 syllabus has to look at, I'm just reading words and pointers from what you see on your screen to drive a point. Senior finance manager should focus on ethics, should know the capital markets, how they work, should know about hedging. Now, all of this is part of your E3, P3, and F3 syllabus. So, in short, to be a good senior finance manager in this exam, you will have to work on your E3, P3, and F3 knowledge. If you work on your E3, P3, and F3 knowledge, automatically you will be able to showcase the role of a senior finance manager. So the blueprints and core areas and all these technical terms that they've given is nothing but revision from E3, P3 and F3. You do your revision, you're good to go. So the strategic level case study examination assesses any learner on 5 core activities or 5 core syllabus areas. By doing your revision on E3, P3 and F3, you're automatically covering these core areas, automatically covering these syllabus areas, and you don't have to worry about anything. And when you study with us, we automatically give you the revision material and a one-of-a-kind ICANN statement explanation document, which you are not going to find anywhere else, because it's created by us, which is a great revision document for our students. So remember, your role is of a senior finance manager, and to showcase that role, you will have to do your revision and to understand your company, both of which I have spoken about as important from the very, very beginning. ICANN statements are 5 core areas which CIMA expects every senior manager to know. And that's your role, right? As part of the case study, your role is that of a senior manager. So let's say the first blueprint area which CIMA has identified is called developing business strategy. So your job as a senior finance manager is to develop business strategy. Now this core area or this core activity is broken down into separate ICANN statements. So this develop business strategy is known as the blueprint area. This blueprint area is broken down into sub ICANN statements. The first one being, I can evaluate strategic options. You have already done your E3 studies with me. So in your E3 studies, strategic options have already been discussed. So what we have done as part of this blueprint document is, let's move down and you will see the explanations. So we have given the blueprint heading A, which is develop business strategy. The first ICANN statement was evaluate strategic options. So over here, you will see all the strategic option models which you can possibly use. So see how simple your revision becomes. See how simple your explanation becomes. If after doing the revision course, you have revised from here, there is no chance that you've missed out on a topic which is important. So over here, we have explained first the Porter's generic strategies. In simple words, they have been further cut down. They have been further summarized for you. And we have given you drawbacks, advantages as well. Then the next model for the Ansof's matrix, you will also see an explanation of that over here. You will also see the explanation of the BCG matrix. You will, so that's your first ICANN statement. So as you can see, each ICANN statement is explained and topics from E3, P3 and F3, whichever is relevant, have been put over here so to enhance your revision process. So to showcase to you that these are the important models, these are the important areas that you must keep in mind. So when we go to our case study mocks, you can simply relate. So to make your study easy, to make your revision easy, these I can statement explanations have been prepared by us so that you focus on the core areas, and you can, and when an exam question asks you, you can quickly relate, you can quickly pick up what is important. If you look at the second one, it says I can recommend strategic decisions. So strategic decisions, let's go back to our E3 syllabus, the SAF model. Whenever you make a strategic decision, it's the suitability that you check, feasibility that you check, and accountability that you check. So, acceptability that you check. So suitability, feasibility, acceptability is something which you have studied in E3, but has been put over here under this I can statement. So each and every I can statement receives ideas, receives points from different areas of the syllabus, making your revision a whole lot easy. This is a very important document for us to understand. So please get a hang of it. Now the question is, how will you pass the SCS exam? Up until now, we told you what this exam is about, what the basics of the exam are. But now, how will you pass the SCS exam? How will you ace the exam? The first thing is we'll focus on revision. Without revision, nothing is going to happen and we cannot move ahead. And we say that to do well on the exam, there are again 3 pillars. These are a bit different. The first pillar is the revision pillar. Second pillar is the pre-scene pillar. Third pillar is the mock writing pillar. All of which we give you. Your job is to simply follow. Your job is to simply go through it. So revision pillar, very important, and that's where we start. I have put a screenshot here from the E3 syllabus from chapter 1 about the levels of strategy. Now the question that we often get is, how should I revise? Do I have to learn everything? Do I have to learn all the definitions? Do I have to learn every single thing that's there in terms of knowing all the words, knowing all the definitions? Should I know that? My answer is no. And why? Because this is a case study exam. It's not a theory exam where you blurt out everything that is there in your knowledge about a particular topic. It's all about your own words. It's all about your own perspective. So what we recommend is, let's see this topic here. This topic here is about the corporate level, business level, and the functional level in strategy terms in an organization. So when I think about an organization's levels of strategy, I should know that the functional level is the day-to-day decisions. The business level is the management decisions. It's about competition, it's about business units, it's about advantages, disadvantages in terms of competing. And at the top comes the strategic level, which is about the organization as a whole. Tone at the top. This is all about your strategic direction of your organization. Now, if I am able to explain the levels of strategy in my own words in 5 lines, I'm good to go. I don't need to know the definitions. I don't need to know every single thing from the notes. That is not needed. We just want your own simple illustration, your own simple explanation of a topic. And to help you, so this is a screenshot of my notes itself. It's not taken from anywhere else. It's from my study notes. And same way, what we have created as a one-of-a-kind creation is the learnings documents that you see on your screen. Now, these learnings documents we have for each chapter of E3, of P3, and of F3. This tells you where and what you have to focus upon from that particular chapter. So this is like an invaluable resource for you, telling you how to study, what to study, where to study it from the case study perspective. So everything that is irrelevant, not needed, is something that you can simply leave out. Put it aside, straight start focusing on what is mentioned in the learnings. And the learnings help you create your own explanations. For an example, let's pick learning number 2 from chapter 1, because it's a topic that we have spoken about. So it says there are different levels of strategy. For your strategic case study exam, you are given the role of a senior finance officer or a senior finance manager, which means you are making decisions on the corporate strategic level at the top of the organization. So only know what other levels exists in your own words. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need to muggle up, just remember everything else. You don't need to bundle all your knowledge. No, just know what the levels of strategy are. So this way, this entire learnings document has been created to guide you through the process. And guess what? When you have the study notes, when you have the learnings documents, what else do you need? Because every single thing has been laid out that, okay, know this from this way, know this from this way, know this from this way. This can be asked this way. Now, keeping all of that in mind, the learnings documents are very important, which we'll give to you if and when you choose to sign up with us. So we spoke about revision. We are now speaking about the second pillar of this exam, which is your industry and pre-scene analysis pillar. Now, when a student signs up with us, it is our responsibility to give you all the material, and that's what we do. The first thing we give you is, after your revision is somewhat completed, we side by side introduce you to the industry analysis. Now, this is something extra that we create for our students, something new, something extra that we do. To show you, I have put an example on your screen. Now, in the May and August 2022 exam, they had given us the company given us was called Snack Wheel. It was a food delivery business. So what we did first is, rather than simply make the student dive into the pre-scene, the first thing that we did was we gave them some background information on an industry analysis which we created extra. So we thought that, why directly jump to the pre-scene when the student has no idea about what the company is and what its background is? So we first created a 20-minute or a 30-minute industry analysis on the background of the real world food delivery industry. And a PDF file of the same is also created with a whole bunch of images and diagrams to make it easy. This is just one page that I'm showing you, or screenshots that I'm showing you. There are 10 pages like this for the industry analysis that we do first. After the student has understood the industry, then we introduce you to the pre-scene aspect, which means we start to take the company that CIMA has given us. For example, if CIMA gives us XYZ, it's a bottle manufacturer, the entire pre-scene that CIMA has released, word by word, line by line, we'll analyze. Just to show you an example of what we did for the May and August exam, I've put this screen. It tells you that we'll pick out whatever is important and relate it to your E3, P3 and F3 syllabus. It's a full annotated pre-scene of close to 70-75 pages that we create with all annotations, relating it to your E3, P3 and F3 syllabus, pointing out important topic areas, pointing out exam scenarios, exam suggestions, which is again vital for your preparation. So when you've chosen to sign up with us, pretty much everything related to your exam is coming from us. All you have to then focus on is doing justice to it. And how will you do justice to it? By following our material. So while you do your revision, side by side, we introduce you to the second pillar of this exam, which is the industry and pre-scene analysis section. Whatever the company they have given us, we'll give you an industry analysis on it, and we'll give you a very detailed pre-scene analysis on it, which will help you accomplish the second most vital part of the exam, which is the pre-scene. And it will be very detailed, with a very detailed financial analysis as well that we'll make, ratio analysis that we'll make. In short, you won't have to go anywhere to find anything else, because we'll give it to you. We'll present it to you. We'll give it to you in a way that is readable, easy, and understandable for you. That takes care of the second pillar. Now to the third pillar of this exam, which is mock writing. Now, when students sign up with us, they often feel that I'll just do my revision and everything will be good. Revision is only one part of the exam. The other part is the pre-scene part. The other part is the mock writing part. All of this has to be kept in mind while you do your preparations. And that's why we are here as registered providers, to show you the path, to show you the direction, so that you follow it. So on your screen, what I have put is our sample of what our mock writing system looks like. What is our mock writing system? What does it look like? That's what I have put over here for you. And this shows you that each question that a student chooses to do with us is timed. On the right hand side, you can see the clock as well, is done on our exam portal and is exactly like the exam, in the pattern of the exam. And every single answer that you write with us will be marked, checked and corrected exactly like the exam, with full integrity, with our professional markers, and we'll send it back to you so that you can learn, so that you can improve, so that you can put one step forward in your preparation. So it's very important to write mock questions, and when students choose to sign up with us in our full course pack, you get 25 mock questions included, which are divided set wise, and which we give you, and at the end we'll give you full 3-hour exams as well. We prepare you, we get you ready for the exam. It's not that the first mock that we give you is 3 hours. You lose confidence because it's your first exam. So we'll start you off slowly and gradually build to full 3-hour exams, and you will be ready to take them because you will be in that confident zone, in that zone of being ready. So remember, the third pillar is the mock writing pillar, for which we'll give you the material, we'll give you the mocks. Your job will be to solve them with full integrity and with full commitment. So how do we go about teaching our students? The first thing, like I said, we'll help you focus on revision, and revision focus will be done with giving you our material, our explanations. Side by side, we start you on the industry and pre-scene analysis, again coming from us. Third, we introduce the mock questions for you, and we do 25 exam style mock questions in our full course. And in each lesson, each mock question that you write with us, we will make sure that you learn from it. We will make sure that you get a correction for it. We'll make sure you get a suggested answer for it, so that you can learn, develop, and then move to the next mock where you have improved. It's a very, very streamlined process that we have created, which gives us the marks, which gives our students the marks rather, and the pass percentages that we get, which are so high. And that is why our method works. That is why students sign up with us. It's as simple as that. So in this video, I have tried to give you a full detail of the exam, but in a very summarized way, so that you understand and you remain gripped with me during your preparations. So thank you for being here. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any questions, please do let us know. Thank you.